I work at a nursing home, and we see a lot of death. Mainly because it's the last place people go when they can't take care of themselves. If you ask the people who work there, most of them will tell you that people often die in a set of 3. It seems strange, but in my experience, it's a common occurrence. Sometimes when people get close to the end, they start acting differently. Some reach to the ceiling in the middle of the night. Some see their parents or other deceased loved ones, claiming that they're coming to take them to a better place. And some see horrible things. This is where the story begins. I work 3rd shift at my nursing home, and I came in like I usually do. Get my groups, wash my hands, and start checking on my patients. The unit I work on is small, so I only have 10 to 12 patients per night, and I tend to only talk to my patients. I went into one of my patients who was getting towards the end of her life. When I walked in, she was facing the corner of her room and didn't notice me. I touched her shoulder and asked her what she was looking at. She said, "Can't you see her?" "See who?" "The pretty woman with the red hair." At this point in time, I thought that maybe her disease was progressing to the point of dementia. "I'm sorry, but there's no one there. Are you feeling okay?" "She's right there. She says that tomorrow she's going to come and get me and that I get to see my son." I felt bad for her because her son had passed away 2 years ago. I didn't want to bring it up, so I helped her and left. I told the nurse after I had left about what she had said, and the nurse told me that she experienced the same thing a few years back. It seemed that a couple of her patients at another facility had passed, and right before said something about seeing a woman with red hair and a man in a black suit. Whoa, man in a black suit? She didn't say anything about that. She explained to me that the patient who saw the woman had lived a good life. A big family, church-going, would never hurt a fly type person. The nurse went on to say that before the patient died, she talked about her beautiful red hair and how she was going to take her away. So I said, "Okay, what about the man?" This is word for word what she said. "We had a guy who was a pretty decent person. Quiet, but decent. I went back to see him the night he died. He was crying. I thought that was weird because he never would show any emotion. So I asked him, what's wrong? And he looked at me, sobbing, and pleaded, "Don't let him take me. Please, God, don't let him take me. I'll be good, I promise. I'm so sorry, God, no." Pretty weird, right? Oh, well, come to find out that he was a very abusive man. He used to hit his wife and his kids and verbally degrade them and everything. So I asked him, "Who's gonna take you?" And he said, still sobbing, The man right behind you." There wasn't anyone behind me, I swear to God. I told him this, and he was bewildered, saying, "How can you not see him? He's right behind you. He's been following me around all day." It was... This poor man, he was freaking me out, but he kept going. He's staring at me with these red eyes. He's wearing a black suit. Please don't let him take me. He said that all night, up until he died. I didn't know what to say. That sounded terrifying. I shook it from my mind and went about my business and finished with everything. I got food for one patient and talked to a couple more, and one of my patients who couldn't talk, well, was shivering, so I gave her a blanket. I sat down and filled out paperwork at 11:55 p.m. When midnight hit, I decided to check on the first patient. When I went in there, she was circling the drain, and quick, too. I called for the nurses, but it was too late to do anything for her. And she passed away at 12:10 a.m. I cleaned up the body, and the nurse called a mortician for pickup. The patient called it, I thought to myself. She said the red-haired woman would take her away today. I walked out of the room wondering who was next. I finished my night's work, and it was almost 8. Almost time to go home. I got called in to help the patient who couldn't talk well. She started shivering again, and that's when I noticed she wasn't shivering because she was cold. She was scared. What's wrong? Man. What? She was pointing behind me, but I didn't see anything. So I decided to tell the nurse about what she said. When I told her, she said, I'll go check on her, but she was fine a few minutes ago. Something didn't settle right with me. I kept the feeling with me as I went home and even when I woke up. And that brings me to now. I just got a call from work saying that the scared patient passed away this evening. There's one left. And I've got this weird feeling. Like I'm being watched.